Okay, so get this. Bathroom stall politics,
Yeah.
right? Sticky notes causing all this controversy.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently, women are using them to, like, secretly
Secretly?
encourage each other to vote against their partner's wishes
Oh, wow.
in the upcoming election,
Yeah.
between Harris and Trump.
That's interesting. It's like fascinating how something so simple
I know, right?
can be such a a flashpoint.
Totally.
Really speaks to the anxieties
Yeah.
surrounding this election.
Oh, absolutely.
The deep divisions, within relationships,
Yeah.
society.
That's kind of crazy.
It is.
We have this Washington Post article that lays it all out.
Oh, cool.
The whispers, the backlash.
Uh-huh.
There's even like a crafty Etsy entrepreneur getting in on the action.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
So buckle up whether you think this is brilliant or totally bonkers.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack it all.
That's going to be good.
The story of secret votes and sticky notes.
What I find really intriguing is how this story connects back
to the fight for voting rights.
Uh-huh.
Like historically,
Yeah.
the secret ballot movement.
Right.
These sticky notes are like a modern day echo, a reminder that, that right to vote freely and privately is still relevant today,
Yeah.
even within a marriage.
Okay, so let's unpack this secret ballot movement.
Sure.
The article highlights how these notes, they emphasize
Yeah.
that your vote, it's confidential, even from your spouse.
Right.
But why is this message resonating so strongly now in 2024?
Yeah.
Haven't we moved past voter intimidation?
Well, the secret ballot,
Yeah.
introduced, in the late 19th, early 20th century, was a huge achievement, monumental.
Okay.
It was designed to protect voters from coercion
Right.
to ensure fair elections. But the fact that these sticky notes are showing up now suggests that for some women, that sense of safety, autonomy,
Okay.
it's still lacking, even in their own homes. So it's like these sticky notes are like this subtle cry for help,
Yeah.
a way for women to reclaim their agency
Right.
in a system where they might feel pressured to conform to their partner's political views.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is how the Harris campaign is
Yes.
tapping into this.
Okay.
They haven't made it like a central theme or anything,
Right.
but their messaging definitely seems to be targeting women
Yeah.
who might be in relationships with Trump supporters.
You're right. Like, I'm remembering these quotes
Yes.
from Michelle Obama and Liz Cheney highlighted in the article.
Right.
They both emphasize the privacy of the voting booth.
Exactly.
Like Michelle Obama saying, your vote is a private matter,
Yes.
regardless of the political views of your partner.
Exactly. And Liz Cheney saying you can vote your conscience
Right.
and not ever have to say a word to anybody.
Powerful stuff.
It is.
And, these messages combined with
Yeah.
the close margins predicted
Right.
in the election suggests that Democrats see this as a potential game changer.
It could be, especially given.
Especially with the gender gap in voting patterns historically.
Absolutely.
But this approach, it's not without its critics.
Oh, of course not.
The article dives into some pretty strong negative reactions,
Yeah.
particularly from conservatives
Yeah.
who see this as, a sneaky attempt to,
Divide families.
divide families.
Right.
A lot of talk about family sabotage,
Oh, yeah.
accusations that this tactic undermines traditional values, sows discord
Right.
within relationships. It's like that Julia Roberts ad,
Oh, yeah, the one where...
she winks at the woman in the voting booth
All right.
and tells her husband she voted the right way.
Yeah.
Sparked a lot of outrage.
Oh, I bet.
Some even compared it to infidelity.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a strong reaction.
Yeah.
Wow.
That ad really touched a nerve,
Yeah.
especially among conservative commentators.
Mm.
Like Jesse Waters, he had some pretty fiery things to say about it.
I bet.
So here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
This whole sticky note controversy, it's like this microcosm
Right.
of the larger debate around gender roles,
Right.
marriage, and what's acceptable behavior within a relationship.
Totally.
Like this tiny piece of paper
Yeah.
has ripped open this Pandora's box
Yeah.
of social anxieties.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
This simple act, leaving a sticky note,
Yeah.
igniting this whole conversation about power dynamics in relationships,
Right.
the role of women in politics,
Yeah.
increasing polarization of our society.
It's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah, it's wild how these sticky notes have become this symbol, right?
Yeah.
Of this much larger cultural clash, but beyond the political strategizing, and all the heated rhetoric. The article also introduces us to some of the real women who are caught in the middle of this.
Yes, it's important to,
Moves beyond the abstract
Right.
and hear from the women who are experiencing these pressures, these anxieties firsthand.
The article mentions Jill Nash, co-founder of Women for Harris Walsh.
Oh.
She talks about how some women are even afraid to volunteer for the campaign openly.
Wow.
Because they're afraid of their husband's reactions.
That's it's a chilling reminder that for some women, expressing their political views can come at a personal cost.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how many women are silently struggling with this, feeling trapped between their own beliefs and the expectations of their partners.
And then there's Olivia Dreisen-Howell, who just explained the concept of ballot secrecy online. And was met with this wave of harassment online, even death threats.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's shocking.
It's a stark reminder of the hostility that some women face for just asserting their right to vote freely.
Yeah, right.
It makes you question if this backlash stems from a fear of women's growing political power and autonomy.
It's almost like some people see women voting independently as
a threat.
Yeah, a threat to the established order.
Right. Disruption.
A disruption of traditional power dynamics.
That's a really insightful observation.
Yeah.
It speaks to those deep-seated anxieties that underlie, some of the resistance to women's political participation.
And then we have Lindsay Mullen.
Okay.
The Etsy entrepreneur who turned this sticky note idea into a business.
Wow, really?
She's actually selling these notes with messages about secret ballots and encouraging women to vote their conscience.
That's incredible. Her story is particularly fascinating because she's a domestic violence survivor. And her political beliefs are deeply rooted in those personal experiences. She's been directly affected by policies like the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Indiana's ban on gender-affirming care for children.
Right, so these political issues.
It shows how they're not just abstract debates for many women.
Exactly.
They have real, tangible consequences in their lives.
Her story really brings this home.
It does.
It's a powerful reminder that politics is personal. And for a lot of women, their vote is about more than just choosing a candidate.
Right.
It's about protecting their rights.
Their safety.
Their safety and their future.
Yeah, it's about agency, having a voice in the decisions that shape their lives.
Right, and it's important to acknowledge that these anxieties,
it's not just
these motivations aren't limited to one side of the political spectrum.
No.
The article cites this YouGov poll.
Okay.
That found that 1 in 8 women have voted differently.
Wow.
From their partner without telling them.
Okay.
But the poll also found that the same percentage of men have done the same thing.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
Secret voting, for whatever reason, crosses gender and political lines.
Right, but the focus on women in this specific instance
it's
actually speaks to this wider societal context.
Wider role.
Of gender roles and expectations.
Societal.
This sticky note phenomena is just the tip of the iceberg. Revealing a much deeper trend of political divergence within relationships.
Exactly. It prompts us to ask, why are we seeing this trend now? Is it the heightened political polarization? Is it the influence of social media? Or a growing sense of individualism that extends even to our most intimate relationships?
This feels like a symptom of so many anxieties. And tensions bubbling up in our society right now.
It goes beyond politics.
Okay.
This situation reflects a larger trend of people feeling pressured to conform to certain ideologies, whether it's within their families, their social circles, even online communities.
It's like everyone's walking on eggshells, afraid to express an opinion that might be met with backlash.
Or judgment.
Yeah, judgment.
And that fear of open and honest conversation is incredibly damaging.
Yeah.
It prevents us from understanding each other's perspectives and finding common ground.
This deep dive started with these little sticky notes.
It did.
But it's really opened up this huge conversation.
Yeah.
About communication, trust, the pressure to conform in a world that feels increasingly divided.
It certainly has. And it raises a crucial question.
Okay.
Can we navigate these differences with respect and understanding, or are we destined to become even more fragmented as a society?
Okay, so here we are, wrapping up this deep dive into, like, secret votes and sticky notes.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing how something so small has, like, sparked such a huge conversation. About relationships, politics, individual choice.
It really does highlight how, these everyday objects and actions can take on these larger meanings in the context of, societal trends and anxieties.
We started by talking about the secret ballot.
Right, historically.
Historically, how it was designed to protect voters from intimidation.
Right.
But now it seems like for some women,
yeah,
that need for secrecy extends even to their own partners?
Yeah.
Is this like a step backwards?
It's a question worth considering.
Yeah.
The secret ballot is a cornerstone of a free and fair democracy.
Right.
But when that secrecy spills over into our personal lives, it does raise questions about, like, the health of our relationship.
Right, and the level of open communication that we have with those closest to us.
Right.
It's interesting because on one hand, we value honesty, transparency in our relationships.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, politics has become this, like, taboo subject that we tiptoe around.
Right.
We're afraid to rock the boat.
Rock the boat, exactly.
That fear of rocking the boat, I think it really speaks volumes.
It does.
About the state of our political discourse.
Yeah, when political disagreements become so personal, so intertwined with our identities, our values, it's no wonder people hesitate to express their true opinions, even to those they love.
It's like politics has become this, like, third rail.
It has, yeah.
We're not supposed to touch it, like religion or money.
You're going to cause a fight.
Yeah, we're afraid if we bring it up, it'll inevitably lead to conflict and division.
That silence, the inability to, like, engage in respectful debate is so damaging. Prevents us from understanding each other's perspectives, finding common ground, working together to solve the challenges we face as a society.
So what's the solution?
That is the million-dollar question. How do we bridge this divide?
Yeah, especially in a world that feels increasingly polarized.
It's a tough question, but I think it starts with recognizing that we're all human beings with complex thoughts, feelings, and experiences. We need to create spaces where people feel safe to express their views without fear of judgment or reprisal.
It's about listening to understand.
Exactly.
Yeah, not just a response.
It's just a response.
It sounds so simple.
It does.
But it feels so difficult to put into practice.
It is.
Especially with all the negativity.
Yeah, and the hostility.
We see in the media.
Online.
Online, yeah.
It's like we've forgotten how to disagree respectfully.
It's true.
We've become so accustomed to shouting matches and personal attacks, we've lost sight of the value of civil discourse.
But I believe it's a skill we can relearn.
I agree.
Like a muscle we can strengthen.
Absolutely.
We need to remind ourselves that even when we disagree on issues, we can still treat each other
with respect.
With respect and empathy.
And empathy.
We can acknowledge that our partners, our friends, our family members might hold different views without seeing it as, like, a personal betrayal.
Exactly. And that's what makes this sticky note phenomenon so thought-provoking. It's a reminder that even in our most intimate relationships, we need to allow space for differences of opinion. It's about finding ways to communicate openly and honestly, even when it's uncomfortable.
So as we leave our listeners to ponder this sticky note saga, I have one final question for them.
Okay.
Have you ever felt pressured to hide your political views from your partner or loved ones?
That's a good question.
How do you navigate those political differences within your own relationships?
We'd love to hear your thoughts, your experiences. Remember, even something as simple as a sticky note can spark a fascinating conversation and reveal deeper truths about ourselves and the society we live in.
Absolutely.
So stay curious, keep exploring, and keep those conversations going.